Hello YouTube, and welcome to another Virtual Worlds tutorial. In this lesson we're going to be constructing a hip hop track from beginning to end. We'll try and get through this as quickly as possible. We'll be using one shots, resequencing samples, as well as some other cool tricks. This is my first. I've got the intro sorted here with the first 16 verse bar and the 8-bar hook with some lyrics in there. If you want to follow along with what I'm doing, see the link in the description to the sample pack that I've provided. It's about 1.24 gigabytes big. There's quite a few samples in there, including some vocals that are free to use commercially, that are part of my sound library that I've given away for free. This is the track we're going to be trying to emulate, something like this. This is how it goes. Here we go. Oh yeah, in the house, Fat Beat, skanking.
You can live to 100, you could die tonight. That's why we getting high tonight. Yeah, that's why I let my man drive tonight. Yeah, it's a violent life. You can live to 100, you could die tonight. That's why we getting high tonight. Yeah, that's why I let my man drive tonight. Yeah.
And we're going to be making something like that. If that sounds good to you, please stick around and watch this tutorial, and we'll get into it now. First of all, just let me save this quickly. And we'll start a new, go to File, New Live Set, and that's how it all begins. We'll change the tempo, the BPM to 95. We'll create a new MIDI track. We'll delete the audio track up here, and on the master channel we should have a limiter. I've already put it on. If you don't know where the limiter is, it's under Audio Effects, and there's the limiter there. So we'll just delete that, show you how to do it. Drag the limiter off. Put on your mastering channel down here and set the ceiling to 0 decibels and a look ahead on 6 milliseconds. That stops everything from distorting and clipping. Then what you want to do is highlight 8 bars on your MIDI channel, sorry. Like 9 bars, right click, go to insert MIDI clip, and there you go. Press Ctrl and L to loop the selection. Now what we'll do is we'll go to drums up here. We'll drag drum rack out onto the MIDI channel. Click on this box here till we can see the C3, C3 sharp, D3 and D3 sharp tabs. Then go to your samples folder. If you want to use the samples I'm using, like I said, the link will be in the description. To get the samples loaded in, you would extract the file that I provide, then put the folder somewhere on your desktop, click add folder, then browse that folder with the samples in that I provided, and click select folder, and it will come up here with whatever you call it. It should be called hip hop collection or something like that. Okay, now we've got samples. This is what you'll be provided with in the sample pack that I've kindly give away. Ain't I nice? Here we go. What you want is raw cuts, because these are one shots. Then we'll use Crate Digger 95 BPM, and we'll go down to, oh no, we don't want that. Yes we do. Can't make up my own mind. Look, we go to raw kick. That means they're kicks. There should just be one shots. That's pretty fat. Not really. Not really. I like number 1. Drag number 1, put it in C3. You can put them in any of these boxes, really, these banks. So now we've got a kick. Then we go to raw SNR, means snare. These are snares. I like that one, number 3, put that in C3. And then we'll have a hi-hat. Number 9 is pretty good. And we'll have that. Okay. Then what we do, actually we'll get a crash. We'll now go to the explicit grime loops. I think there might be in there. Come to one shots. Then go down to drum one shots. And we've got a crash. Use crash 1, put that in D3. That's how you do it. Right, now what we do, click on your MIDI clip down here, and as you can see it's loaded. Since we loaded it into the drum rack and we create the MIDI clip, the whole 4 one shots are now loaded into our MIDI into our drum rack. You've got crash 1, the hi-hat, the snare and the kick. Make sure the headphones is turned on or you won't get any sound. Right click anywhere on the grid here and go to 1/16th note, 1/16, like that. Press B to get your pencil tool up, or click on this up here. Put the first beat on bar 1, second beat on 1.2, the third beat on 1.3, then the fourth beat on bar 2, then on 2.3, then on 2.4. Then what we do, we go to snare. We've got a snare here. In between the 2 kicks. Then we'll put a snare in between there. Then on 1.4. Then on 2.2. Then in between these 2 drums. Then we'll have one here. Then we'll put a hi-hat there, here, there, here, here, so on and so forth. Just repeat what I'm doing. If I'm going too quick, just slow it down and pause the video so you get an idea where I'm placing these hi-hats. I'm soon doing quite a lot so you can tell. And we'll, to get our crash, we right click back on the grid, click 1 bar and just click on the first bar. There we go. Then right click again and go to 1/16th note. Press Ctrl and A to highlight them all. Then press Ctrl and D to duplicate. And press Ctrl and D again and again once more. So we've got now a basic beat. We want to variate this because it's a bit repetitive at the moment. So we want to vary it around the bar 3. So we will have the hi-hat there. And then bar 5. Take the beat out. Put a hi-hat there. Take that one out. Then for bar 7. We'll take this beat out. Put a snare there. And a hi-hat there. And take that one out. Just by clicking on it with the pencil tool. We'll put a snare there, get that hi-hat, put a hi-hat there. Now if we play this back, get rid of that hi-hat, we'll start again. Maybe do something like that. Sounds a bit wrong. Try it again. That's our basic 8-bar beat. Then what we're going to want to do is duplicate this channel. Go to right click and duplicate. Click on your MIDI clip. Come down here. Zoom out all the way. Press Ctrl and A. Delete everything in there. Come down to your effect rack and delete this drum rack. So everything's deleted. You're just left with a empty MIDI clip. Then what you're going to want to do, come to raw cuts again, go back to say Crate Digger, I'll come to this raw cut BBM and choose any of these sounds you like. Actually, first of all, before we do that, we've got to go to drums drag a drum rack out onto the new MIDI clip and click on this bunch of boxes here, these banks, so you can see the C3, C sharp, D3 and D sharp banks. Then go back to your samples, just play through until you get something you like and put some in. That's pretty good. Not bad. Pretty good as well. That's not too bad. I like that very much. That sounds decent. We can have that one too. These are all one shots. We'll have that one. And that. Keep going till you feel like you've got enough. Till you've got enough one shots loaded in. We'll just load in. We'll just load in 3 more. That should do it. Then what you're going to want to do is come down to your MIDI clip down here. Make sure you've got your channel 2 selected, which is the drum rack, the second drum rack. What you can do so you don't get confused is right click, go to rename and call this melody. And call the first one, right click, go to rename and call it drums. Give them a different colour so we can differentiate between the two. We'll give this one a lime green and we'll give this one a red. Make sure you've got the drop melody selected, the channel, the clip on the channel. Come down to your MIDI clip, and as you can see, all the samples we loaded into our drum rack, the one shot melodies and instruments, are now loaded up in here. You can scroll up and down by using the scroll wheel if you've got more samples then you can't, you can't see. Right click, go to 1/4 note, and look, play the individual. To play the individual sounds, you click on the corresponding key here and make sure the headphone is selected, it's turned on or you won't get any sound. I'll have that one. Then we'll have we'll go to 8th note, then duplicate that one by Ctrl and D, then press Ctrl and A to select them all, press Ctrl and D to duplicate. There you go. Now we'll do Ctrl and A again, select all, Ctrl and D, Ctrl and D, Ctrl and D to duplicate. It's a bit repetitive here, so we'll get to bar 3. We'll take that one out. We'll have that one in. See how that sounds. That's pretty good. We'll take out bar 5 and we'll add in that one. See how that sounds. Take out bar 7, add 2 there, and take out the last bar. Put in there. Let's see what it sounds like now. pretty good. To spice it up a little bit, come to your MIDI effects, drag out arpeggiator onto the melody. You want to leave the style on up, because we're going to go up the scale. You want to leave the groove on straight. Put the rate on, say, 116. Turn it on to beat, retrigger that is, and put it down to 116. Turn the gate, which allows more of the sound to come through. Turn it up to, say, 75. And have the steps on, say, 5, and the distance on plus 12 semitones, which is 1 octave. That means it'll vary it up to 12 semitones, 5 different layers, 5 different additional sounds based on the source sounds of what's inputted into the channel, which these one shots here. Okay, let's step back. That's a bit too fast. So we'll slow it down to 1/8. To get our drums a bit fatter, what we can do is go to Audio Effects and scroll up till you get to Audio Effect Rack. Then you drop this arrow down here, this Mixing and Mastering. Go there and click on, drag out Boombox Drums. Not Big Boom Master, but Boombox Drums. Drag that out onto your drums. Then play around with it. I'll just turn the saturation drive down to 9. It's basically like a volume, the saturation drive. If it's distorting, turn that down. If it's not loud enough, turn it up. Now what we'll do is we'll drag sorry about this YouTube, bloody red cures get on my nerves. Sorry about that. And what you want to do is get your drums, drag them out up to 16 bars, then we're going to take your melody, freeze the track, right click and go to freeze track, then come up to create, insert audio track, then hold down control, left click and drag this down into the new audio clip. It will create a sample. Then go back to your melody, right click, unfreeze track, and drag this new audio clip it's created to the side here. So it starts on bar 9 up to 16 bars. Then what you want to do is right click and go to slice to new MIDI track. And you want to leave it on half note, you want to leave it on built in. Click OK. Now I can delete this sample, because now we have the exact same sample, the exact same beat here, but as a MIDI sequence, but it'll be lower in volume. So to adjust that, we'll just go back to Audio Effects, come all the way down to get to Utility, drag it out there. We'll turn up the channel to about 3 decibels. We click on here and we'll turn this up to, say, 5 decibels on the utility. Might have to adjust it some more, but we'll see how well the transition between volumes from the MIDI clip to the other MIDI clip is just crazy. That's a bit too loud. Turn that one up to 3.5. Maybe 3.7. Let's listen to the transition now. That's pretty good, but as you can see, it's just playing the same sample we've already created. So you want to click on the freeze track, the new MIDI clip we created. we'll just right click on that and rename to Melody 2, and we'll give that the same red color if I can just find it. There we go. Now what we want to do is come down here, click on that, and come down to your MIDI clip, and you can see it's inputted it into here. Remember we sliced it to a half note, so what we're going to do is right click it anywhere on your grid here, but not on any of these notes, just on a bit of space. Right click and click on half note, then make sure it's focused, and click Control and A, then delete them all, and make sure this headphone icon is highlighted, make sure it's turned on or you won't get any sound, and click on the individual segments now we've created to see which one takes your fancy. We'll have that one there. We'll have that one. And that one. Then when you've got it, when you do about 5 bars, you can always highlight them all by pressing Control and A and duplicating. It just has a variation, so it's not the same for 16 bars. Otherwise you get very repetitive, like a lot of hip hop music can be very repetitive when you remove the vocals. We're going for non-repetitive here, people. Some of the levels need to be worked out properly, but we'll do that at the end. We'll do the levels right at the end to make sure they're all nice and balanced. Then what you're going to want to do, we're going to create some sub bass now. So go to your instruments up here, drag out an instance of operator into a new channel. Just click it anywhere in a bit of space and it'll drag it out. Expand the channel. Highlight 8 bars. Right click. Click on Insert MIDI Clip. We'll just press Control and L to loop that selection. Then what you want to do is, you see these numbers here, like C2 and C1. You want to come down till you get to B1, I think it is. That's a nice bit of sub bass. We can have D0, probably better. And just make any pattern you want. I'll just drag it out to 1 bar and press Control and D a few times so it goes all the way to the end. Then we'll just break a little bit off the end here. So we'll take 2 units off there, 1 off there, 3 off here, 1 off there, 1 off there again, then 2, and 1. And as you can see when we play it back, we've got a nice bit of sub bass. Listen to this. That's the sub bass by itself. We could turn that up, say 3 decibels. Now let's do it. That's a nice bit of sub bass, that is. Still not finished there. Then what you're going to want to do is we want to EQ the sub bass and the drums, because usually the bass and the drums operate nearly on the same frequency. The bass usually operates on about between 40 to 80 Hertz, and so do the kick drums, and when they collide together, when they're happening roughly on the same frequencies, it leads to muddiness in your track, which can lead them cloudy and washed out and not making the proper sounds they're supposed to. They could be like really washed out and muddy. So what we want to do, we want to get an EQ by going to Audio Effects and dragging out EQ 8 onto your sub bass. Play it back and see whereabouts it's peaking. As you can see, it's peaking here, look. Here it is, where the icon, my mouse icon is. So if we play it now, we click on 1, move it across a bit. Then we'll turn the gain up to say 2.50, and we'll change the Q all the way up to 17.5. We'll turn off number 4. We'll turn off number 4 and number 3 by clicking on the boxes down here. And number 2 can go all the way to 12 kilohertz, because we don't need much high end, it's a sub bass. But we can go to 12 kilohertz. Hold down shift if you want to get a greater degree control of accuracy over the input scale. There you go. And on number 2, come down here and roll off the high end brick wall by clicking on the bottom one on your tools panel down here. There you go. Now we can use the scale. I like to put the scale up to like 105, just a little bit extra, and turn down the gain by say -15. Then drag that out and hold control so you copy it. Remember to let go of the mouse button before you let go of control, it will move it instead of copying. And then let go on the drums. There we go. Drag the EQ before the boombox drums, because Ableton reads your effects from left to right. We want the boombox right at the end so it doesn't lead to any clipping. Now what we'll do, we want to see whereabouts the drums are peaking. About here, look. So we'll click on number 1. We'll move it along. About 44.1. We'll turn down the gain to 105. And we'll turn up the Q to 18. And now number 2, we'll turn that up to 18 kilohertz. We'll turn number 3 back on, and we'll move that up to a good presence level, which is 3.25 kilohertz, which is 3,250 hertz, because there's 1,000 hertz in a kilohertz, in case you didn't know. So 3.25 is a good presence level. Up the gain by say 1.5, and do the Q on about 350 say. Now if you listen to that back, we shouldn't get any muddiness. There shouldn't be no conflict between the bass and the drum, so it'll come through more prominently. Can you hear the difference? It's subtle, but it is there. Then what we're going to do now to get the drums coming through even more, we're going to do side chaining. So go to your audio effect rack, come to compressor, and drag that out onto your melody. Because you put the compressor on the instrument, you want to have load and volume. When the kick makes an impact, it's called ducking. When it's set up properly, side chaining, what it allows it to do is when the beat makes an impact, whatever layered over the top of the beat, like a snare, like a synth or a bass, will be slightly lowered in volume, not audible to the human ear, but slightly enough that allows the drum to come through more prominently, and that process is called ducking. Okay, so now we've got our compressor. We'll click on this drop down arrow, highlight side chain, come to audio from, click on drop down arrow, and we want to point it in the direction of the drums. So click on drums, then click on EQ, and since it's a melody, we want to roll off the low end by having this one highlighted, it is by default, and turn the frequency up to, you guessed it, 3.25 kilohertz like we had before for a good presence level, and turn the Q up to say 501, doesn't really matter. Then put the ratio anyway from 2:1 to 4:1. I like 4:1 because it usually yields the best results. It's compressed 4 times. Not 4:1. Attack is basically how much of a delay. The higher the number, the more of a delay between the initial sound being played when activated. So we were on 0.575 milliseconds. And the release, you can go ahead and leave it on auto because it does a very good job. You don't need to touch the release. Just click it, leave it on auto, and click on this little arc icon here, and then drag down the knee to 5.1. You can do it in smaller increments and move a lot slower through the digit scale if you hold down shift. Click on look, put it on 10 milliseconds, and click on this little wave icon, and as you can see, when we start playing back, we're going to drag this down so it's just underneath where it's peaking when it's compressed. So now we play it back, look. So now that's really drastic, all the way down. You hold this line, you click on this line, you want it somewhere like that, just underneath, or maybe down here. That's a bit too drastic. Leave it on peak as well. That's where we'll have ours, 17.5. Sounds pretty good. That sounds pretty good, yeah? Oh no, it's on post effects there. You want to come down and you want to choose raw drum rack, raw kick 1, pre-effects. And then you'll want to highlight your compressor, press Ctrl and D to duplicate, because that's just side chained the kick to the melody. Now we've got to click on pre-effects again and click on the next one, which is snare 3, pre-effects. Then you guessed it, duplicate it again, click on pre-effects. Next one we want is the hi-hat pre-effects, and one more time, duplicate, come to pre-effects. Then we'll have the crash 1 pre-effects. And what you can do is highlight this compressor, hold down Control and left click on that compressor. Oh, that's not working, so just hold that left click on that one, hold down Shift, click on this one, it'll highlight all those, then press Control and G, that'll group them all together. Now what you can do is just double click here, it'll shrink it down, so you haven't got lots of compressors on your MIDI track, but they're still there, don't worry. If you want to expand it again, just double click anywhere here to expand and collapse. Now if you play it back, as you can see, that's pretty good. Then what we'll do is we'll drag this out holding Control, and we'll let go of the mouse button first before we let go of Control, because if you don't, it'll move it rather than copy it, and we'll move it on to MIDI, the melody 2. So now if we have a quick listen to the transition, it should be pretty seamless. The volume on MIDI 2 could do with coming down just a touch. And there you go, our tune is now beginning to take shape. Then what we can do is, first of all, highlight everything, but press Ctrl and A, so that, and move everything along till you get to the start of bar 9. Then what we'll do is we'll drag out the first melody and press Ctrl, left click, and duplicate it across. I'll tell you what, no we won't, we'll do it this way to give it more variation. We'll hold down this one, hold Control, and drag it across right to the beginning. And then with the sub bass, drag from here, so you see, go to the top of the border, the blue bit here, and to the edge, until you see this half an eye icon, and drag out till you get to bar 5. So you know you go 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Then what you can do, highlight 2 bars of these, drag out two like that, hold Control, drag it out so you copy it, make sure it's highlighted. What you can do, come down here, focus the track by clicking anywhere on space, press Control and A, then delete that, and then right click, go to 132 note, and where it says kick, come down here and put a kick in here somewhere, so we'll have the kick there, and 1 here, then we right click, go back to 1/16th note, we'll put a kick here, 1 there, just follow the process I'm doing. Then you want to leave a space, another one, leave a space, another one, leave a space, then leave 2 spaces, that'll be a drum roll into the track. That's what it sounds like now. We've got a bit of an intro building up. Here we go. Now we can move on to our hook. What we can do is split this in half, this bar here. Oh no, we'll do this one. Just drag out 4 bars of it on the melody 1. Hold control so you duplicate it. Make sure the last 4 bars you select is the first 4 bars in your hook. Then select the first 4 bars and put it at the end. So you've basically reversed it. So it should sound a bit different. If you're still not happy with the variation there, you can do something like this. Just take 2 bars out there and these 2 out here. Put them there. Put that over here. That there. And that there. That should be quite varied now. Then you can highlight them all. You can join them all together to make it one clip. Highlight them all. Right click and click on consolidate. There you go. We'll do that there. Then what we'll do, we'll highlight just 1 bar of this drum roll. We'll drag across there, and we'll just highlight that 1 bar there, and we'll just drag it across, replacing what was there previously. Then put drum roll in there, highlight 8 bars of the drums, move it into the 8 bar hook over here, and then we'll have that 1 bar here, replace that section there. Then we drag in the 1 bar drum roll there, and we'll drag out this sub bass so it goes all the way across, including the 8 bar hook. Then what we'll do, we'll come down to the sample pack, and we'll come to rap vocals, NYC rap vocals. Then we'll choose one called NY3 96 4 bar GDP violent. We'll drag that down there. We'll put it in here, and since that's 96 BPM and we're on 95, we'll make sure it's highlighted. We'll click down here, click on warp, and click on warp again. It'll now make it 95. And where it says beats, click on the drop down arrow and make sure it's on complex pro, because that works best for vocals. Just drag that out, or just highlight it and press Ctrl and D to duplicate. And then we'll turn up to, say, 5 decibels. Like that. And then
yo, what's up?
We'll have that one bring us into the actual beat. Right, just before the actual drop. Right click and go to like 1/16 bar if you want. Just shrink this down so you get to the very, there's no blank space at the end. And then bring it here. Make sure it butts up against the edge of bar 9. The end of bar 8. And what we can do to make the vocals a bit more sparkly, so they're a bit flat at the moment, is go to audio effects, come down to say reverb, drag reverb out to your vocal track, turn the reverb down to say 20 on the dry wet, turn the scale up to 50%, the density down to 50%, the decay time up to say 350, stereo up to 110 or 120, without 120, quality is not on eco, we want on high, and size we want about 120 or 119, and pre-delay we want that on about 155. Okay, now we'll take it back, listen to that, we'll play it from here.
Yo, what's up?
Did you hear the lovely bit of reverb there? I'll just skip into the hook.
It's a violent life. You could live to 100, you could die tonight. That's why we getting high tonight. Yeah, that's why I let my man drive tonight. Yeah. It's a violent life. You could live to 100, you could die.
Turn the vocals down to 1.5.
That's why we getting high tonight. Yeah.
So dry wet down to say 16.
Yeah.
Say about 18 on a dry wet. Now we'll lift that back again.
Yo, what's up?
It's a violent life. You could live to 100, you could die tonight. That's why we getting high tonight. Yeah. That's why I let my man drive tonight. Yeah. It's a violent life. You could live to 100, you could die tonight. That's why we getting high tonight. Yeah. That's why I let my man drive tonight. Yeah.
As you can see, that's pretty good. We've nearly completed our track. That's all we've got to do now is highlight, make sure we're on one bar, right click anywhere on a space here, so right click, go to one bar, highlight all the way up to, don't include the first 8 bars, just highlight the first 16 first bars and the 8 bar hook, highlight that, press Ctrl and D once and twice, and then what you want to do is highlight 4 bars at the end here and press duplicate. That's what you want to do. Maybe take this. What you could do is what you might have to do to be able to freeze the track, click on where it says freeze, then turn, then highlight these whole compressors, press Ctrl and C, make sure that it's copied, then delete. Don't worry, we'll be bringing them back in a minute with the undo feature. Then right click on Melody 2 with the freeze track. You've got, since we linked up with a compressor, it won't let you freeze the track with the compressor. So you have to delete it temporarily. Then when you've got the track, go to create, insert audio track. Then it's just an easy way, it lets us fade out a lot easier. Drag this down onto the new channel, and that will be an audio clip now, will be a sample. Then right click on melody. I'll go to unfreeze track, and then click back on your freeze track, and click somewhere here, press Ctrl and V. There you go, we've now put the compressors back in. We'll just put the utility right at the end here, so it's the last thing on the on the chain. And drag this, that can be turned up a little bit in volume, it's quite low. And since it's a melody, we'll put it on texture, turn it up to say 5 decibels, drag it out to the end, then highlight the clip, and you see these little square boxes in the corner, that should fade out. Drag that all the way to the left, we've got a nice fade out, and duplicate that, or maybe elongate the sub bass just there. Now if you play that back,
That's why I let my man drive tonight. Yeah. It's a violent life. You could live to 100, you could die tonight. That's why we getting high tonight. Yeah. That's why I let my man drive tonight. Yeah. It's a violent life. You could live to 100, you could die tonight. That's why we getting high tonight. Yeah. That's why I let my man drive tonight. Yeah.
and our track is about 3 minutes 52 long. That's about the good length of a track for a hip hop track to get a single track, And that's our track completed. That's not the most complicated way you can do it, but that's how to make hip hop be an involved hip hop track with one shots and side chaining, EQing, and all the other things we did. I'll just play it back. I'll skip through it as I'm playing, so we can edit different sections. There's more you can do to it. Like you could also, if you're not happy with the levels, which I'm not really on this track, but it takes ages to tweak them for me, because I'm a bit of a perfectionist, I'm never satisfied. You click on the session view up here, and then you would click on, say, Melody 1, and you've got all the raw cut individual one-shot samples here. Then you've got that. If you don't see the levels, click on this bar here, drag it up, and you see all the individual channels here with the temp, with the volume decibel. The trick is to get it close to 0 without going to yellow. Get it close to 0 without it actually going. If this number here, if the background, the white bit, goes yellow, it means it's clipping. The trick is to get it close to 0 without it clipping. If we play it, say, You click on melody 2. See that one? That's quite quiet. We put up to 6.
Life. You could live to 100, you could die tonight. That's why we getting high tonight. Yeah, that's why I let my man drive tonight. Yeah, it's a violent life. You could live to 100, you could die tonight. That's why we getting high tonight. Yeah, that's why I let my man drive tonight. Yeah.
So I'll play back some of the track. This is what we've made. Oh, and to get the tempo set exactly, make sure you got your tempo up here, 95. Whatever you've got in your tempo tab, your BPM, take 95. That's what we want. Go back to your session view and see it's got 128 there. Yours won't say that. It will probably say nothing on yours because this is what I previously set for a template with my EDM. So you want to right click on that, go to rename, and type in 95 because the BPM was set for the track. You type in BPM, all that is, then space, then forward, then 4/4 with a 4 signature, and when you do that, it'll set the tempo properly. What you got to do to actually make sure it does that is click somewhere on space on your arrangement view, press Ctrl and A to highlight L, right click, and go to consolidate time to new scene. Let it do its thing. It's very subtle, but it does actually get it. It works it out properly. Just in case some samples are a little bit different in tempo that you've used as the overall tempo, it will make them match a bit more better. It's worth doing. Once it's consolidated, it will now have applied the effect. It's like consolidating basically means like a mini render. It'll apply the effect to the track ready for exporting. Because if you didn't do that and you exported, some of the effects that you've made might not actually take place in the final export. So just consolidate to new time scene to make sure all the effects of what you've done are applied to the track. That's done now, so we can listen to it, and I'll skip through it in different sections so we can hear the whole track. I won't play the whole track from beginning to end because that'll take a little while, but I'll just skip through it. Here we go.
Yo, what's up?
And now the outro. Here comes the outro. The end of the record.
It's a violent life. You can live to 100, you could die tonight. That's why we getting high tonight. Yeah, that's why I let my man drive tonight. Yeah, it's a violent life. You can live to 100, you could die tonight. That's why we getting high tonight. Yeah, that's why I let my man drive tonight. Yeah, it's a violent life. You can live to 100, you could die tonight. That's why we getting high tonight. Yeah, that's why I let my man drive tonight. Yeah, it's a violent life. You could live to 100, you could die tonight. That's why we getting high tonight. Yeah, that's why I let my man drive tonight. Yeah.
There you go, YouTube. That's basically how to create a hip-hop track from scratch. If you've liked this video at all, it's been useful, please give it a like. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so. Be safe, be lucky. Virtual Worlds signing out. Peace!